Hello everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. So I'm here with an evening update on Tropical Storm Fiona. So it is now entering the Caribbean and it is going to be unleashing dangerous conditions across sections of the basin, and it is expected to become a hurricane. So we're going to be talking about the latest from the National Hurricane Center as well as what is expected of the system. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update video on the tropics. Alright, and so now let's go ahead and talk about what is going on across the Atlantic Basin. So looking at infrared satellite, there we have Fiona slowly making its way into the Caribbean region, and there are two disturbances. So we have one that is well off the east coast of the US and another that is out in the open waters of the Atlantic, and then we also have a tropical wave southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. So let's briefly talk about those two disturbances. So here we have one that is given a 10% chance to possibly develop. So this one is going to be making its way towards the east, maybe a bit to the east southeast, and it is not likely to develop into a tropical cyclone. So as of right now, the chance stands at 10%, but all the shower and thunderstorm activity associated with it could bring some impacts to Bermuda. And so looking at this second disturbance here, so this is a tropical wave that is given a 20% chance to develop. So when it makes its way towards the north and into that shaded region, we can gradually see some development of this, and it could possibly become something out there. So the next name to be used for this hurricane season is Gaston, and we'll see if this one is going to loiter up there and maybe become something. But of course, the main focus of this video is Fiona. So let's go ahead and see what Fiona is doing now there. Let's see what she's up to. And we're taking a look at current infrared satellite imagery of it, and we're seeing here that Fiona is kind of disheveled right now, but looking at the visible satellite imagery for it, we're seeing that we can see the center of rotation making its way over Guadeloupe right now, and the western side of the system has limited shower and thunderstorm activity, and that is because of all the wind shear that has been quite persistent and taken its toll on the cyclone. So most of that shower activity lies to the east of the center of the system. So that is where we're finding those all that heavy rainfall, the tropical storm force winds. That is where they're going to be coming from, guys. So we're talking about the rest of this evening going into tonight and tomorrow. And then as we're going to be looking at the cone forecast now, let's see which areas are under watches and warnings. So we see that all of the Leeward Islands, with the exception of Dominica, are under a tropical storm warning. So Dominica is under a tropical storm watch, but nonetheless, dangerous conditions could affect the area, especially in terms of all that heavy rainfall that is anticipated. So Puerto Rico and the British Virgin Islands and US Virgin Islands are under a tropical storm warning as well. And then most of the Dominican Republic is under a tropical storm watch. And this could be extended to more of the island of Hispaniola, so maybe more of the western portion of Dominican Republic, maybe even Haiti as well, because if the system is going to be crossing over the Dominican Republic where we have those highland areas, all those mountains, that could really pack a punch on the cyclone and help it to become a little bit disrupted, making it a little bit more disheveled, so that shower and thunderstorm activity could be a little bit disorganized and disheveled if it does make its way over all that mountainous terrain. But regardless, though, it is expected to make that turn up to the Turks and Caicos Islands maybe by Tuesday and possibly intensify into a hurricane by Wednesday. So that is when conditions are likely to become a bit more favorable, and I would say that the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Bahamas, even Bermuda should be keeping an eye on this. And in terms of the East Coast potentially being impacted, there have been trends of the system making that curve and not making its way towards the southeastern coast of the US. But I should point out that Fiona is expected to be near hurricane strength before it makes its way into the Dominican Republic, but it should weaken a little bit once it makes its way overland, and then when it makes its way back out into the open waters of the Atlantic, that is when we're going to start to see that intensification and the more likelihood of Fiona becoming a hurricane. But I think that there is a possibility that it could become a hurricane before it makes its way into the Dominican Republic, but regardless, all that very heavy rainfall, which is likely to cause flooding, is going to be there. It's going to be a bit persistent. We're looking at this maybe by sometime late Sunday going into Monday, and maybe even into Tuesday as well. So guys, please take all the necessary precautions and stay safe. I keep reiterating that because persons would usually downplay tropical storms, but they're just as dangerous as any other tropical cyclones. It's just that they are kind of on the weaker side, but still a significant rainfall threat here, especially in Hispaniola. So please, guys, take the necessary precautions and be safe and heed the warnings. So now let's go ahead and take a look at conditions out there, and let's go ahead and begin with the wind shear. So the red lines indicate unfavorable wind shear, the green means favorable, and the yellow means neutral. And Fiona is in a region, as I said, it's being sheared, and that shear is going to persist for a while, although some slight strengthening is likely with the cyclone over the next couple of days before it moves into Hispaniola. But things should get a little bit more favorable as it accelerates into the open waters of the Atlantic. And now let us go ahead and take a look at the dry air map. So here we have the Saharan air layer map right here. And as we see more of the oranges going to the reds, that indicates more of an abundance of dry air. And we see that off the coast of Africa, and a little bit is in the vicinity of Fiona right now. And so dry air intrusion is something that helps to limit shower activity in tropical cyclones. So when we have a vast amount of dry air that is in abundance in a region, that is really the opposite of moisture, which is what tropical cyclones need. So a moist environment induces shower and thunderstorm activity, and so with the dry air being persistent, then we wouldn't see a whole lot happening. But in the case of Fiona, it's not a whole lot infiltrating the system. We see that it's been thriving quite nicely over the past couple of days, although it's not the best, but it has been a very resilient tropical cyclone. So the dry air is kind of helping to suppress the intensity of the cyclone as well, but the main inhibiting factor at this point in time is the wind shear. And so, guys, that is really it for this update video. And so to recap, we have Fiona that is currently a tropical storm out there, of course, with winds of 50 miles per hour, and it is making its way towards the west. It is entering the Caribbean basin as of right now, and we have all these watches and warnings that are in place. And so the storm is likely to bring a lot of heavy rainfall and even some mudslides possible in sections of the Dominican Republic as a result of all the precipitation that is anticipated from the cyclone. So again, guys, please ensure that you're taking all the necessary precautions and staying safe, because as we're going to be heading through the rest of this weekend going into next week, we're going to be having Fiona to talk about once it remains a threat. And so that is really it for this update video on the tropics, and of course I'm going to be giving all the necessary updates as time goes by, so join me tomorrow for my next update video. So if you found this video to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.